To C++ tutorial on factorials. In this tutorial I'll be explaining to you what is a factorial in C++ and what are the ways we can find factorial of a particular number. So what is a factorial? A factorial is a non-negative integer which is a multiplication of all integers as smaller than or equal to the number n. There are like so many ways you can generate factorial of a particular number. I will do few examples here. I have already done one example here. So in factorials I have used function here. Int I will use n as a number, and I have make if else statement here. If n is less than or equal to 1, return 1. So this is basically base case. So let's do it. So base case else return n times factorial of n minus. So every time it checks it, if n is, for example, n is 5 here, so if it checks and 5 is in fact greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than 1, so it checks and it checks again 5 minus 1, which is 4. So 4 checks again with this and return the statement. So the factorial of 4 is 4 minus 1, so factorial 3. So after that statement we get factorial of 5. So every time it multiplies 5 times 4 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2, so which should be 120. So include IST using specificity in factorial. So if you want to return this, the output should be 120. So we'll succeed that we see 120 here. Let's do it. Let's wait for the output. Sometimes it takes time. The factorial of 5 is 120. So so because 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 120. 1, it is 1, hit the 1, it returns 1, so it doesn't go through the loop. So this is one example. We can do more examples of how to generate a factorial. I will show you one more example using for loop. Let's do it here. Int main what the heck. So int main, so how can you do this? So let's do an integer n equal to 5, and let's do factorial equal to 1. So it should be basically base case, and int I. Alright, so I have to take care of int factorial here. So you have 3 integers here. First is n, and second is factorial, and third is I. So now let's use for loop to generate factorial. For I equals 1, so this is base case. I is less than or equal to n and I plus plus. Alright, and we have to define factorial. How we do this is factorial equal should be factorial times I. Alright, so let's do cout. So the factorial of n is what? It should be factorial and underline. Alright. what is the wrong here? Okay, I have to, this is a string, so I have to use this. Yes, I have a typo here, so it should be factorial. So yeah, so it should be fine because int is n is 5, so factorial is 1, so it's going from 1 through number of n, so it still should give me 120. Let's run this program, and this definitely gives me 120 as output. So let's do one more example using taking users input C in. I'll do it here now. So let's take it off. All right, so let's declare a function here, int factorial. Okay, int n. Okay, so in the main, let's declare int n and cout, enter a positive number and end the line. So now we look for input from the users, so cin and all right. So what else we can do now is cout the factorial of n is fact int n here. So okay, now we are done with this. Now you have to use the prototype here for the factorial function. Let's make a function in factorial. So in fact, okay, so we can, so it is basically function prototype. So if n is less than 1, return n times factorial n minus 1. All right, else return 1. Okay, so in this program we use function int factorial and you use the prototype here. In the main, use the main body, so integer n we have to declare it, otherwise the C++ would not be able to recognize it. And we will ask for the users to enter a positive number. If you get the number, the factorial should be able to, the program should be able to get the factorial. How did they do this? It is by n times factorial n minus 1. So every time it goes to the loop, it compares if 5 is in fact less than, greater than 1. So until it hits base case, it goes through the program again and again and multiplies all the numbers. So it should be also 120. So let's run the program. So let's do 5. The factorial of 5 is 120. Let's do one more example. 1, the factorial of 1 is 1. Okay, so that's it. I hope that was a help for you to understand how factorial works in C++, and I will see you in next tutorials. Thank you very much for your time.